Hello, everybody. It's Darkstrider, the YouTube assassin, and today I wanted to touch on some things that we heard about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, a little while ago, I actually let you all know that in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, one of the rumors were that it's going to have dialogue options, and then another rumor was that it was going to have multiple endings. Than I expected. So, I could see where they want to compete with other games where, you know, it kind of makes sense to have some replayability, especially when you think that Assassin's Creed Origins was actually a short game, and the only reason it was so long was because of all the little side missions and things like that. So I could see where, you know, you play with one character, the male character, then you play with the female character, you go back and forth doing this. I could see them trying something like that where they're trying to improve on just the replayability and the length of the game. Must be a way forward. But a lot of you were on board with me, like, well, what the heck? Like, you can't have an Assassin's Creed game where you have dialogue options. The whole point of going into the Animus is that you're reliving genetic memory. You can't rewrite it or anything like that. And then the multiple endings thing was also very, very confusing because, you know, what would be considered canon at that point? How could you have more than one ending, and what is going to be canon, what's not going to be canon? Well, we may have found a way around this, and I really want to shout out Matt Finn because he actually brought this to my attention. A person who was watching one of my videos and said, hey, maybe this is how they'll do it. So I'm in the Sphinx, and I'm going to activate this machine. When I activate the machine, I want you all to pay attention to what is being said here, and then we'll discuss afterwards what's happening. It's actually like really mind-blowing.
Retransmission, segment 6, requiring contemporaneity. It has been 109 days since the great catastrophe. The messenger speaks.
Wake up. Not from a dreamless sleep or an absence of light, but from a reality that will soon cease to be. Wake up. The next chapter is unstoppable. And yet, the greatest revolutions sometimes originate from the confines of impossibility, do they not? Change your mind, subvert your perception, stop this world, bend it into something new. Destiny is not without irony. Here I am, imploring a lesser version of myself to do what I could never do. In this timeless moment, you and I are a bridge, both of us from different eras meeting halfway at the narrowing of the hourglass in this ocean of sand. It is not enough to tell time. You must learn time. To work with your Shelly Mrs. East, and in so doing, escape the inescapable. Fill in the blanks, the ones hiding between words, between worlds. Find the spaces that we could not erase, the variables that ended up erasing us. If you do not, they will erase you as well. Time told of a story that ended with us, and now it tells of a story that ends with you. Once upon a time, a new story will begin. After the functions which run our days have scattered into an array of random numbers, we found solace in order. We thought it would help us rule the world. We were wrong. Order never served us. It has kept us within the code, within the boundaries. We were tricked into thinking we were the ones writing the rules, when they were in fact guiding us to our conclusion. You need to transgress. You of all people understand the value of disobeying. take an unexpected turn away from the path that is drawn straight ahead of you. The animus was humankind's first unconscious attempt to explain what it could not see. Understanding genetic memories, an eye into history. But the animus bears a fatal flaw. It follows the rules from those who embrace order, just as we do. It allows you to witness, but not alter. Your animus is different, as is the mind that imagined it. It could escape the code. It could do that leap and make possible a decision that defies the order of things that are. Wake up. Be the chaos that comes to be. Gods are just like you and me. Remember, nothing is real. Everything is permitted.
So now that I hope you paid attention to, especially towards the end. Basically what the narrator was saying was that the animus that Layla Hassan has created is different. Okay? All the animus, what they were intended to do was to allow us to see into genetic memory, to relive the memories of those who came before. Bayek, Ezio, Altair, etc., etc. Now, the thing is that this voice admits that Layla's animus is different, as is the mind that imagined it, Layla herself. They're saying it could escape the code. It could do that leap and make possible a decision that defies the order of things that are. Okay? So now, in knowing that, in hearing that, maybe in Odyssey we're going to discover that yes, Layla Hassan's animus is different than all the other animi that came before, where hers can actually break rules. It already breaks rules where she doesn't need a sample or a donor to put genetic memory into her machine. She could just take a sample of anybody's DNA and use that in order to relive their memories, as we saw when she did that to Aya. She threw it right in her animus, trying to like mix it to see what Aya's life was like back in the day, and try to relive her genetic memories rather than Bayek's. So, I mean, is it possible that this is the gateway or a little back door that Ubisoft put into the game in order to explain that away? Because, like I said, multiple endings and dialogue options, you know, now we're getting into like Mass Effect territory where like everything you say is going to affect the outcome of the story. Everything you do now affects the outcome of the story. Now, where does that stop? All right. You know that when we go into like a town and, you know, we you know, assassinate a civilian, you could only do it so many times before you're desynchronized. And in Origins, you could even do that with cats. Like if you try to kill cats, you'll get desynchronized after so many cats that you attack. So, you know, how far does it go? Where is it going to stop? All right. That's just really, really incredible that they would put some sort of dialogue option. I mean, yes, it does make for like, you know, some kind of unique gameplay that we haven't seen in Assassin's Creed, because we never had those kind of options where we could just run the narrative between two characters and stuff like that. You always just watched a cutscene of what went on between the two characters. You never actually interacted. And then, of course, the multiple endings thing. Now, after seeing this little part with the Isu retransmission, it's kind of crazy, because now I can see, okay, this kind of makes me feel a little bit better, because you're going to see that there will be one ending that's absolute canon. All right? But the fact that Layla Hassan's animus is designed to do all kinds of other things, you're going to see that not only will there be a canon ending, there will be other endings that would probably be like, possibilities. Like, had this happened, this would have happened, And now maybe even this is going to change the series as a whole, because you're not just going to see what happened in the series, you're going to see what may have happened. You're going to see if they had altered their course, this is what would have happened. Now, of course, it's not going to affect other games, if there is if you're playing as a Greek soldier and you did like 5 different things and it altered, what history would have been, it's just going to be altering what happens in the simulation. It's not going to be altering the actual events of all the other games. Ezio is still going to be Ezio. It's not like, all of a sudden Ezio's not, like a Italian living in the Renaissance. He's actually, like an Australian living, during whatever period, it's going to stay canon. All right. The endings will stay canon. The multiple endings, the other endings that you run into, it's probably going to be like a what if scenario. What if this had happened? What if that had happened? This would be the outcome. And then maybe, they could take notes on that. Hey, look, we should have done, if they had only done this, then we'd have known that this was going to happen, So, that just makes me feel a little bit better about the multiple endings thing and the dialogue options. I know for a lot of people it's going to be weird, because we do sit in the animus and we just watch history progress. We're not really altering it or choosing it. It's like we're sitting in and we're reliving the actual memories of things that actually happened, and you can't actually rewrite that. Obviously, you can't rewrite history like that. But in this animus, you can. In this animus, all that is going to happen. If they are in fact actually doing that, where you're going to be able to go and like have different dialogue options and visit other places out of order and do things that, were not done canonically. It does make for like a little bit of interest. It does make for some replayability. And, that's actually kind of cool. But like I said, it's going to be weird, as we know about Layla, she built her own animus. She designed it, from her own parts. She was working on the animus project. If you guys ever read any of the notes that she had on her laptop, if you ever took a look at any of that, she actually did create her own animus after being kicked off of the project. And she was pretty pissed off about that. And that's why her animus looks like really weird. It looks like, it could transform. It looks almost like a coffin or whatever. This was her own design. And this was, something that she had built. So if you ever have like time, like definitely look on her laptop and go through like all her files. You'll see, like how, she came about to do this, how she got into an argument with her boss, how she was upset that she was removed from the project, and things like that. So it's a very interesting concept and whatnot. Definitely, when you have time, look into it. And, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this dialogue and multiple endings thing? Do you think that it belongs in Assassin's Creed game? Do you think that, like, it's going to make any kind of sense or anything? You think that, maybe it's just going to be, like, weird or something? Would you like to see multiple endings? Would you like to see, stuff that goes on? Or do you think it's going to be, something that you would be interested in, where you could see multiple endings or even make all kinds of other decisions on, what happened in history? Or do you think that that's just too much? That just really shouldn't be in the game because it makes no sense. Why would we have an Assassin's Creed game where you get to choose when the reality is that you actually are viewing history. You're just along for the ride. You're not actually supposed to be changing the course of history. It's not a time machine. You're not going back in time and fixing things or changing wrongs or anything like that. But when you do that, keep in mind that these things that you're doing, these decisions that you make for yourself and these multiple endings do not affect all of history. All right? Like I say, there will be one canonical ending, and the rest of the endings and the rest of everything else that goes on is, you know, just going to be like, hey, look, this is a what if. You know, kind of like the way comic books will do what if series where, you know, like a superhero didn't obtain his powers and somebody else did, or, you know, like an alternate timeline and stuff like that didn't actually happen, but it's just one of those, hey, look, this is what would have happened. You know, let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And like I said, just let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know, how do you feel about, you know, something that's kind of like different than what we've experienced in an Assassin's Creed game before. You know, multiple endings, dialogue options. You know, is it going to not feel like an Assassin's Creed game anymore? Or is it going to be more of like a Mass Effect kind of game? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching.